Welcome to the APUSH News Network, or in other words, for lowly, nerdy juniors, stealing the high school's newsroom. Anyways, I'm Cadence, but people just call me Blondie, and these here are my fellow co-hosts. And our special guest, Eric Foner! We have Kaley, crack cocaine, according to some.
Don't ask.
And we have Anika and Brie Cheese.
It's just Brie.
Well, it's great to be here, Cadence, talking about history and America and all that fun stuff.
Yes, glad to be doing this for a grade.
Well, why don't we make like a baby and head out with this project?
And here we go with the terrible puns.
Anyways, in 1754 or so, freedom was an interesting topic of discussion. The Declaration of Independence was published in 1776. Before it was published, many people had varying opinions and arguments over what freedom meant and entailed.
Well, Brie, why don't you tell us what the Declaration said?
Well, the Declaration said all men are created equal.
It also said absolutely nothing about slavery, because if it did, there would be arguing over it. And so, slaves were not given any freedom at all when the Declaration was made in 1776.
Oh, the humanity!
Your pun is irrelevant.
But anyways,
Well, after the Declaration was published, people still didn't always agree on what freedom meant, but they all more or less agreed with the Declaration, hence letting them take a step towards on the trail to equality and freedom.
And now we will make like a cow patty and hit that metaphorical trail of freedom and equality.
Oh dear.
I see what you did there.
Anyways, a generous citizen took their time to make this lovely and informative mashup for us to use today.
Me. Does this really mean freedom?
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 Not yet. Look, we are outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. The truth is in your face when you hear the British cannons go boom. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came. Boom. I am not throwing away my shot. The world will never be the same. Boom. I feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I'm getting older, your people get colder. A war's going on, but the reason's undercover. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. If love and peace is so strong, why are the pieces of love that don't belong? Nations dropping bombs, chemical gases filling lungs of little ones. Commandments. Number one, the challenge demands satisfaction. If they apologize, no need for further action. Number two, if they don't, grab a friend, that's your second. Your lieutenant, when there's reckoning to be reckoned. Number three, have your seconds meet face to face. Negotiate a time and place. Number four, if they don't reach a peace, that's alright. Time to get some pistols and the doctor on spot. Duel before the sun is in the sky. Pick a place to die where it's high and dry. Number six, leave a note for your next of kin. Tell them where you've been. Pray that hell or heaven lets you in. Seven, confess your sins. Ready for the moment of adrenaline. When you finally face your opponent. Number eight, your last chance to negotiate. Send in your second, see if they can set the record straight. Number nine, look them in the eye, ain't no higher. Summon all the courage you require. Count number 10, faces.
Killing people, dying, children hurt, and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, and what you turn the other cheek.
Give me another chance, I wanna grow up once again.
We lost our childhood. We lost our pride. Let us live alone now. If only for a moment. If only for a moment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fairness and equality?
Your story.
Well, that was certainly interesting.
So, jumping ahead a little bit in time, in 1865, slavery was abolished in the 13th Amendment. This amendment caused a bit of strife. However, since people just died in excessive numbers due to the Civil War over slavery, I think people may have been more open to the fact of just ending the bloodshed instead of ending slavery. But, I mean, what else can you really do when you're the only person in your family left alive?
So now that slavery is abolished and people are starting to recover a little bit from the war, people began to show more anger towards the amendment, and things started happening.
Nothing horrible at all, just the assassination of the president and the formation of the KKK, but...
Average, everyday life, I'm sure.
As time continued, African Americans earned their rights gradually. However, the Indians were much slower in gaining more freedom.
In 1866, the Civil Rights Act granted citizenship to the native-borns, including African Americans.
Excluding Indians.
And then, 2 years later, the 14th Amendment was passed, providing equal protection of the law for African Americans.
And 2 years later, in 1870, African American males were allowed to vote.
So America was moving on from slavery, slowly, but not completely. Hard feelings were still in effect.
And as we move forward on this path, there's to come many and lots of court cases involving the freedom and equality of African Americans. So, to put it simply, America was still in a state of pandemonium.
In 1909, the NAACP, or National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, is formed to fight for the civil rights of African Americans.
In 1915, KKK is reformed, but on a happier note, in 1920, the 19th Amendment is passed, giving women the right to vote.
Hurrah for women!
And then, in 1924, American Indians are finally given citizenship and the right to vote.
About dang time.
In 1948, President Truman ends segregation in the U.S. military, and then 1955, Rosa Parks begins her boycotts.
Between 1957 and 1963, there are many and lots of boycotts, protests, and the likes of all racial equality.
And finally,
1864 brought about civil rights acts outlining discrimination in public accommodations and by employers.
And don't forget that in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. is assassinated.
well, thanks for watching this session. We'll be back with more terrible puns.
You have got to be kidding me right meow.
Make America gay again.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. It's just Brie.
Fuck!
No,
Why? It's the same one!
I know. Cadence.
It was such a great start!
I'm gonna when I get to the brie cheese part, I'm gonna be like,
Anyways. It was so good.
it was going so well.
Okay, let's do this again.
Can we just start from there? And can you just
No,
edit
let's just.
everything
No,
out?
it's easier if you start over.
Yeah.
Because splicing gets interesting.
Oh, 10, not 30.
Skylar took it.
Oh, clearly I am the man in this relationship.
Okay, guys, just focus.
Okay, ready? Go.
I fucked up the camera because I.
Oh my god!